it's thinking outside of the box on who those spheres are. How many contacts? I have 1,700 contacts in my phone. And so it's trying to help them see where you have those conversations. When you say 5 conversations a day, 5 days a week, they're like, oh, I'll do that for 90,000, but they need a little bit of help doing that. So some of the things that we can do so you can now have conversations, you can automate some of your tasks to increase our efficiency, because at some point you can only sell so many homes or you have no life. So many agents don't keep in touch with past clients, having a system for that. And I know that's not like super sexy or exciting, but at the core of it's just the basic consistency. If you tell me I have to have 1,200 conversations a year, I'm like, if you get discouraged, you're going to give up. But if it's achievable and you can do it and you don't let yourself off the hook until you have those conversations, and if you take care of the people, the money will come.
You're listening to the #1 real estate podcast in the world, where we talk with real estate professionals all across North America about their wins, losses, lessons, stories, helping you win in your local market today. My name is Cody from Sheridan Street. I'm joined with Vikram Deol of the Real Estate Sales Academy. I'm going to just say it before Vikram says it. Your lighting's not great today, but if you're listening back on iTunes and Spotify, you're not going to see my lighting, so it's not really going to be a huge deal. It's only on YouTube, so you're going to have to get over it. My lighting sucks today, and Vikram's audio is terrible today, so it just is what it is. But aside from my lighting sucking and your audio sucking today, what are you up to, Vikram?
I was trying to get us onto StreamYard because it would be a better interactive process for the playbacks on YouTube and for other stuff. And you would have let me. And now you're being very aggressive towards me. And I am feeling threatened right now. And I'm not feeling very safe from you, Cody May.
You know, like, you're not always going to feel the way you want to feel.
I like that answer. What's up, man? Dude, what a busy day, bro. Like, geez, I am like having a glass of water and it tastes so good because I know that there's no time for anything else. Like, maybe we can go for a tinkle today, but we got 5 back-to-backs. We finished the 5-day lead in conversion. I don't even know where I'm at anymore, bro. Like, I'm delirious at this point. But what are you seeing? Like, what is one thing that you're seeing right now with the people you're doing live transfers for? Like, what's one thing you're seeing winning for your clients?
The thing we chatted about this week in the leading conversion challenge was the idea of
so much stuff that my brain food.
Yeah. The big thing is curiosity. Like, the people that lean into curiosity, that lean into wanting to be really wanting to help people. Like, you and I say consistently, time and time again, humans over homes, people over property. If you just put people first, like, your bank account just happens to increase because you want to help people. And I would say, like, we have a client out of Ottawa. His name is Mike, and Mike is just absolutely destroying it because every single transfer he takes, every appointment he gets, he leans into curiosity and he leans into, like, how can I serve this person at a really high level? And I posted about this on social, and I know you commented on it today. I said, it makes no sense to me. Like, this is the strangest line I've heard agents say to me recently is like, I don't meet with people that aren't pre-approved, but I don't have the business that I want to have. It's like, do you think potentially that there is business sitting in the people that aren't necessarily pre-approved yet? Of course there are. Are they going to transact right away? Maybe not. Maybe some will. Who knows? Maybe they just have wrong or flawed information. So I would say the biggest thing that I'm learning,
those people, those people have a broken process, and they got that broken process from an agent that was crushing it, because that agent probably knew how to prospect, and that agent probably knew how to, like, generate deals in business, or you've been in the business for a while, so they had a system in place. But all they heard from the conversation of that top producer was, oh no, if they're not pre-approved, like, we just put them into a funnel and we'll wait for them. We'll nurture them on the back end before we see them in the front end, because that was their process. But all they heard was, we'll meet with people that are pre-approved, and they only take, right? It's selective listening. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's selective that kills entrepreneurs.
Yeah, 100%. Because what works for you might not work for somebody else. Like, somebody that has a bench of business sitting there where the listing agent that says, hey, I have a ton of listings, but generally those listing agents have buyer agents sitting on the back end. So it's just, I think it's just, for me, it's clarity. But what about you? What's been the top thing that you've learned or you've seen your clients experience in the last week before we intro our guest?
Yeah, man. Like as I evolve as a trainer and as I evolve as a coach and a mentor to the people that I'm working with, it's not the scripts that make the difference. It's the ownership of the script. And now as I went through, like I was in Jeremy Miner's Inner Circle program. It's like a $40K a year program. And as I was in there and I'm writing my own structure, the first thing I'm thinking was like, wow, these f***ers got me writing my own out. And I'm paying how much money? And it was like that little monkey mind that was like on my shoulder that was like, cancel. Cause it's a big, it's a 40K is a lot of money for a year-long program, right? Or whatever it's going to end up working out to being. And like, as I'm writing it out, I was like, oh my God, it brought me back to when I was 2012, brand new agent, brought me back to when I was 17 years old selling Cutco. And I used to write my scripts out and I used to change minor things just to make it a little bit more personalized and organic for me because of my humor, my charismatic energy, like who I was. And I was thinking, I was like, oh, dude, this is so good. So we've been working with our clients and having them write the structures out themselves. And then we go back into the Real Estate Sales Academy. So we'll meet like on a Monday, we'll role play. Okay, here, role play. Here's the recording. Put this into your structure. On Tuesday, we'll review it again. And because they're doing it themselves, they have ownership of it. And the ownership of it, right? The ownership of that language pattern is ingrained into their head. And now they start using it. Like the girl I'm dating, Salome, the other day, she said something like, she's like, well, would you be opposed to like, going out to dinner tonight? And I was like, stop it. No, wait, what did you just say? She's like, well, I mean, I think it might be beneficial if we go out to eat like at 6:30 versus 7:45 when you want to eat, because that's when you're like mentally checked back into the world. She's like, wait, I think it might be beneficial if we go earlier so that we sleep better. And I was like, holy, she's like internalized it. She sits there and listens to our calls, right? So I was like, it wouldn't. I was like, damn it, she got me. And I didn't even realize it, Cody, until after. I was like, no, I'm going to be opposed to that. No, I'm going to be opposed to that. Like, no, that sounds like a good. I'm like, holy shit, you just flipped the switch on me. And she's like, I listen. And I was like, oh, you're so cute.
That's so good. And it's
organization and the ownership is what I would say has been like a big aha over the last couple of months that is really starting to show. Like 2 clients, I'm not going to mention that, actually 4 that I can recall off the top of my delirium. One's got to have his best month ever next month. Best month ever, like beating 2021. The other one's got 100K in escrow for next month. Another one went from 0 deals in like the last 6 months. And she's been with us now for a few months, like 6 weeks. And she's got 1 in escrow, 1 new buyer, and 1 possible listing coming up, which would be like extraordinary for her. And the other one's got, he closed 4 escrows in 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I don't remember, whatever. 4 escrows, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I was like, and he's single, first year in the business.
Yeah. And I know who you're talking about. Like, just absolutely phenomenal. And today, like in the green room, we were chatting with our guest about relationship, like what it actually takes in order to like drive consistent and persistent results, and it's consistent and persistent action. And today we have Kim Agemy with us, and I didn't butcher her name. Thank the Lord. I got it right. I remembered it. I practiced it in the green room.
Good, Cody. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, because after butchering Guillermo's name on the last podcast, I still can't get it. But we have Kim Agemy in the Michigan area. Was actually introduced to us from Kurt Schuhel, who was on our podcast, who dropped some massive nuggets. And without further ado, Kim, I want to welcome you to the show. And why don't you give us a quick high-level overview on how you got into the real estate industry and what you're up to right now in your local market?
Yes. So thank you very much for having me. I've been in real estate for about 27 years. It means I started when I was 5. right? But I've been in real estate for a long time. I actually started out new construction. I didn't choose real estate. I got engaged. I was relocating to Michigan. I was applying for a job, applied with Pulte Homes. It started there. So I didn't get my real estate right away. But after that, I didn't get my license, my broker license. And then as I was raising my family, I went to traditional real estate because I didn't want to be trapped to that builder every weekend, whether you had somebody or not kind of thing. And so I went out on my own, and I really started my own real estate company and did very well and kind of worked on my own. Now I have an office. I have about 110 agents here. We've got my pictures in the window. We're top producers at EXT and Icon agents, Double Diamond. So we've achieved great things. But I love what you guys were talking about. I think it's so important when people get in the business who they surround themselves with, and those little tweaks on owning the script in that. I love what you're saying. It's exactly true. I think that there's so much noise out there. People get a little bit, they keep listening to all the things and implementing nothing, right? So.
Well, 110 agents in the office. I'm curious to know, like, in the market we're currently in, there's no question. We've chatted about this consistently, Vic and I, and with people that, that are doing, like, still doing great volume, but a lot of them are saying, hey, what I did in 2022, 2021 is not sufficient for 2023. Like, Vic and I have had so many conversations with agents that did like 280, 500, that are sitting at like $36,000 in gross commissions this year. Like, what are you teaching the people that are around you? We chatted about consistency. Like, what does that mean? What does that actually like fundamentally mean? Because it's one thing to be like the coaches out there, like, make your calls, do the thing. Like, how do we get the people to realize, how do we get people now to realize that it is going to take more action and more consistency in order to get the results they want? And like, are there things that are working in your market now that necessarily weren't working a year ago? Walk us through like how you guys have actually been able to achieve the results you've been able to achieve.
I think when I talk about the consistency, one of the things I do, we actually teach knowledge is power every month. And we started with it was knowledge is power. And we added to that action brings success, because it's not just the knowledge, it is the action. And so one of the methods we teach, for instance, is the 555 method. And I think you have to break down the numbers. At the core of real estate, it's not sexy. It's not fun. It's about having conversations. That's just what it is. And so you have to be able to have consistent conversations. So like with the 555 method, for example, we talk about calling 15 people a day, 5 past clients, 5 current clients, and 5 new contacts, right? And of those 15, try to have 5 conversations. If you can do that 5 days a week, meaning you get 2 days off, take off 4 weeks a year, right? So 48 weeks, that's 1,200 conversations. So a top producing agent might convert 10%, but even a new agent can convert 3%. So if you convert 3%, and I break down the numbers, even on a $5,000 commission, which isn't even high, that's $90,000 a year. So it's all about the conversations. Now, how do you have that many conversations? Well, that's the key, right? And so I always tell people you need 3 to 5 lead pillars. And so you can't just post on social media and think that's going to be everything. Okay, so social media might be one. I have a lot of business come from social media, but I make those connections and those relationships with people so they know me. And I consistently post. If you follow me on social, you will see me every day, whether you want to or not, right? So it's consistent, but that's one pillar. So what's your other pillar? People are like, we don't have a sphere. Okay, well, I help them break down. I mean, my sphere doesn't include my mom and dad. I've got 2 kids in college. They're not buying enough houses for that to happen. So I have clients that are, were parents when my kids played. I have 2 kids. All 3 of my kids play college sports. My husband was an All-American at Michigan, played baseball there. But through those connections, I just sold a house from a mom that I was in PTO with, right? So now my oldest son's friends are buying. So it's thinking outside of the box on who those spheres are. How many contacts? I have 1,700 contacts in my phone. So it's just helping them see they think very small. And so it's trying to help them see where you have those conversations. Because when you say 5 conversations a day, 5 days a week, they're like, oh, I'll do that for 90,000, but they don't, right? But they need a little bit of help doing that. So what we try to do, we just taught some AI to increase our efficiency. So some of the things that we can do, so you can now have conversations, you can automate some of those tasks, because at some point you can only sell so many homes, or you have no life. So I try to just help people. And at the heart of it is relationships. And honestly, that's not different than it was 27 years ago. It's just about, so many agents don't keep in touch with past clients, having a system for that. How do you do that regularly? So I try to break it down to that. And I know that's not like super sexy or exciting, but at the core of it's just the basic consistency. If you tell me I have to have 5 conversations a day, I don't feel overwhelmed. If you tell me I have to have 1,200 conversations a year, I'm like, you know what I mean? So just help break it down to where you're eating small bites. And because if you get discouraged, you're going to give up. But if it's achievable and you can do it and you don't let yourself off the hook until you have those conversations, and some days it's easier and some days it's hard to have those conversations. It's hard to have 5 conversations, right? I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. They say success leaves clues, right, Kim? And you guys being in your market, being at the top of the game in your company, it means that you're doing something right. And we, Cody, what number of podcasts are we? I didn't keep track anymore. I think it's like 180, something like that. And so, 150 conversations with agents across the nation in Canada that are doing extraordinary, even in a down market.
Yeah.
Right. We were interviewing somebody who said, our business is down 22% or 11% since last year, but the market's down 33%. So we're still beating the market by 22% or whatever the number was, right? And the clues that everybody is talking about right now is training, and breaking things down to the simple. Like, I'm a firm believer right now in this market, if you focused on 2 lead pillars, right? If you get an expired or you do door knocking, I like expireds. I'm really good on the phone. Door knocking, I don't know, like door knocking wasn't my thing. We did well, sold a couple million, 10 million door knocking or something. Circle knocking, all that. That was a lot of fun. But door knocking, to me, I didn't love it. My team members loved it. Good, do that. Right. But I was like, focus on either door knocking or cold calling. I was like, I can't give you a lot of, back in the day, I was like, I'm not going to give you a lot of hands-on experience with door knocking because I'm like, okay at it.
Yeah.
But if you focused in on like cold calling, talking to your sphere, right? And we talk a lot about sphere. I have a way of breaking down sphere for people so that they understand all of the people that they actually know. But like, yeah. I think I want to just go really like basic on this, like, because you say you talk to 5 people in your sphere, and there's people that don't have 5 past clients or 5. I like to call them like, I just like to call them my clients, right? I like to call them clients or clients. Like, so if they've already done the transaction, it's just a client. If they're active, we would call them like an active or a current client. But like, break down, and I think language is super important to the mindset. But break down to me, like, what does sphere mean? Because there's agents that say, I don't know who to call. I don't know anybody. I don't have leads.
Yeah.
You pick up the phone and you like, there's names and numbers everywhere. But like, what is the sphere? Like, when you're talking to your agents, like, what does that mean to you?
Well, when I tell people to look at their lead pillars, honestly, the answer is not the same for everybody.
Yeah.
Some people are good on the phone, like you said. Some people are willing, bold enough to door knock, and some are not. So what I tell them is you have to look at what you can stay consistent with. If you try to do all the things, you won't do well at any of the things. And so when it comes to sphere, we have somebody in our team and he's really involved in his church. And so we're like, well, go to church and then you wanted to create a group. He even wanted to start a euchre club, right? Well, then have a euchre club. You're at 4 people at the table and you're organizing it. You can control who's coming in. And so it's putting yourself in different groups of people. I just spoke to, because I have my events, I just spoke to a lady. She had 35 closings from her bowling league. She joined a bowling league, right? Bowling, like with the footballs, with the bowling balls.
Yeah.
It's bowling. And so the point is, she's joining the league to get in front. So if you need that sphere, what is something you enjoy doing? So she enjoys playing in the league. She's like, I'm probably one of the older ones there. She goes to the league, but she has purposeful and intentional conversations, right? She's not talking rainbows. She's letting them know she's in real estate. She can drop different nuggets on how she can help them. And so 35 deals, right? And she's doing something she enjoys. Another agent that I just spoke with, she's closed over 100 deals a year. And so we were talking about that because the same for me. And she really is into autos. So she does auto shows. And she got involved with the fire department. She got on the board. Another agent, she gets involved with blood drives, pet rescue, because you're having conversations with different people. So your sphere can be, maybe you're heavily involved in your church. Well, when you go and build relationships with people and they know, like, and trust you, right? It's way more fun to work with somebody that you build a relationship with. And if you take care of the people, the money will come. So you build a relationship, they get to know you, and you're coming in and you're not going in and going, hi, I'm Kim, I'm a real estate agent. Nobody wants to hear that, right? But if you're going in and you're having a conversation, you're asking them about them, you're getting to know them, and you're building that relationship, and then you can follow them on social and they can see you're a real estate agent, right? You can drop good nuggets. So there's some ways that you can kind of increase that sphere. And also, you just don't think about what that sphere looks like. We're involved. My sons played college base. All three of my kids are college athletes. So within there's a lot of different circles there. So it's keeping in touch with people in there and letting them know you can help them. So does that make sense? So on the sphere, it can come from a lot of places. You can go volunteer somewhere at the library. It's just you can't be going and talking to the same people.
Getting out in your community, getting out, talking to, excuse me. And what I like about what you said is go do it in something you like. You don't have to treat something you don't. Like, go find something you like. And then don't just say, I'm a real estate agent. Share knowledge about the market, share knowledge about a process, share knowledge about a story or something like that. And that opens up a much larger conversation than, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Can you refer me to some of your friends or think about buying or selling a house? Which that frustrates.
Yeah. And so when somebody says, how was your day? You can simply, after you build that relationship, not at first, you can say, you know what? I'm so excited. I was helping one of my clients and we found this new program. It's going to help them buy a house. I'm so excited about it. When you talk about people that aren't pre-approved, a lot of times it's because they don't know what to do. They need somebody to guide them. So if you can help guide them, you can bring up how you help people, and don't talk about how great I am. Talk about how you help people. And then you'll get people asking questions.
110 agents is to work with that crew and to work with people around you that are high performing. Like, how do you you said, like, you connected with Kurt, and Kurt was your sponsor, and we interviewed Kurt for like 30, 40 minutes, and we sat down and, like, amazing human being. Like, what does collaboration look like to you in this space? Because, like, in a space where, like, with their traditional brokerage, it's like oftentimes, like, we go to the top performing agent maybe in our city, but, like, what are some things that have potentially helped your business? Because you mentioned, like, in the green room that you've been able to triple your business over the last couple of years, and a lot of that has come through collaboration. Like, can you walk us through, like, how that's happened and, like, some things you've learned along the way that potentially people, maybe they are already running high performing teams and they're like, I just feel stuck. I feel stuck at where I'm at, or maybe I'm down this year. It's like, what would you advise to the high performing agent that wants to go to the next level?
Well, I would say, so when I say I started new construction and I did my own brokerage, I was working out of my house. I did very well. Still considered a top producer in the industry, but I was figuring it out on my own. So any stumbles, getting from A to Z took longer because I would have to make mistakes. I would learn from my mistakes, but it was Kurt, got me to, I joined a smaller boutique brokerage before where I'm at now. And I thought they were going to show me the secret sauce, something I didn't know. Well, I went to this brokerage, and what I quickly found out, I mean, I enjoyed the people. They were fine. They were great. But what I found is I was a top producer, so there was nobody there to teach me anything I didn't know. The brokerage itself did not do anything that increased my business. It was still all mine. So one of the things in this industry is you're 1099. It is your own business. Own it. Read it as such. The brokerage isn't your business. It is yours. You need to bring in yourself, and you need to build that up. That being said, I was there for a while, and I wanted a car, and they were paying me a salary. I stepped in at broker, but I looked around and I'm like, what's going to be different in 1, 3, or 5 years? And nothing. The answer was nothing. And so at that time, that is when Kurt was making a move to EXP. And I'll be honest, I didn't go right away. One, I was comfortable. I was raising my family and whatever. And it was a change. And I was like, okay. It took me about 2 years to really listen to the opportunity. But once I came over, and I didn't really realize the difference. The difference is, when I talk about the collaboration I have, is that it is because of the EXP structure that brings about a collaboration of some of the best in the country that you would never have otherwise. So the thing is, with most brokerage offices, you're 1099. The only person that benefits from you doing well is the broker. And they benefit till you get here. Once you get here, then you start wanting all these things. So the it's kind of like the system's broken. There's not a big incentive for the broker to help you succeed at too high of a level, because then you want to leave, right?
Kim, can we talk a little bit about this? Because I mentor and coach agents, and a lot of times after a sales call, a lot of agents, I need to think about it. You can't get them off the fence, right? You do everything in your power to help them, but some people just, they don't want a top producer who's done what they've done, what they want to do. They don't want to do that. They want to go to the free resource, the safe resource. And a lot of times they'll go and talk to their broker, and they'll say, hey, I met this guy, sounds good, but what do you think? And they'll be like, well, we can help you. And it's like the same thinking that got you to where you're at, as Einstein said, there's this thinking that's going to get you out. You're in a bucket of shit, right? And the bucket, your bucket of shit might be 2 deals a month. Your bucket of shit might be half a deal a month. Your bucket of shit might be 18 deals a month.
Yes.
But if you're not happy with your bucket, right, and you want growth because you've outgrown the bucket, everybody says, a lot of agents say, oh, we're going to go talk to our broker. We're going to go talk to our team lead. And I think that that's part of your team. But you said something that is interesting, because I haven't heard a lot of agents and team owners and people that have the brokerage model or had a brokerage model talk about how broke the system is. Because I want you to go a little bit deeper, and you might have been going there, on why there's little incentive for the brokerage to really produce top producers, and how it's actually, what's the cap? It's kind of like, all right, well, we're done with you. Like,
yes,
I think brokerages, like, let's say in your market, in order to cap, you got to hit 100 GCI, 100K in GCI. Well, they want to get you right to that level, but they don't want eyeball. Please keep going.
Well, you're right, because keep in mind, a broker, truth be told, the investment they have to make, and they're paying a franchise, right? So they could be a small brokerage, but then if they're a small brokerage, they're limited by what they can offer you because it costs money. If they're part of a big franchise, right, then they're paying the franchise fee, and they're still only getting so much. Once you cap, then you're actually a liability, you're a cost to them. And
why are you a cost at that point?
Because if they have an office, they're paying for things in the office, right? They're paying for copies, they're paying for staff, they're paying for, so after you cap, they're not making anything. The franchise owner, right? Not the brokerage. The brokerage is doing okay because they make money no matter what. But the franchise owner is not. And so part of the problem is that they make money, so you cap, and then you don't. So agents that tend to figure it out, then they want their cap lowered, and then they want more thing. And even then, then in the industry, teams came along. But even the team system is broken, because if I'm a team leader and I take on all these agents and I train them, if I teach them to spread their wings and get to a point where they figure it out, I see a lot of team lead, they teach them in their little bubble, because they want them to succeed on their systems, which I understand why, because once they figure out and if they want to go out on their own, then I no longer benefit. And I have to start all over with a new person that's broke. But see, at EXP, I just had a team member. She's very good at what she does. In her first year, she was just under share goal. She made about 90 grand. She did really well. She now wants to go on her own, but she's still in my family.
Right.
So I still benefit with revenue share. And she has brought on additional agents because she sees the value in that. So I want to see her succeed because she will be an advocate. She will do well. And she is somebody I want to be around. And so the EXP structure fixes that. So in any office, and people I have join, we just had an agent join yesterday from one of the big national brokerages, right? And he came over and he's like, I don't get any help. He's been in the business 3 months and closed 4 deals. He's like, I had no help from anybody. I'm like, well, that's awesome. He didn't get the leads from anybody. I'm like, great job. And he's coming over because he doesn't feel that support or that knowledge. So I'm a big believer in when I get in rooms, I'm in rooms with people that are doing 1,000 homes a year, 50 million a year. I'm in rooms that are with people that do 9 billion, so I'm in some really big rooms. But what I do, instead of keep all that knowledge to myself, I share it with others. The more they succeed, the more I succeed. And so the structure of EXP allows for that, to where we can all move in the same direction for a lot of it. It's better on my stock. It's better on my revenue share. My business has tripled because as I get in these rooms and I figure it out, why don't I want to see others succeed? I also enjoy the culture and the people around me and their success. Way more fun.
And I'm part of Real Brokers, so I'm licensed, but I'm not actively participating in the sales arena anymore. But I joined Real. And Sharon, who's Cody and I's, mentor, he's now the president of Real. And my friend is Dean Aguilar and Kyle Whistle, right?
Kyle's one of those rooms I'm in with.
Yeah, same market.
Yeah.
Same competition. They both have the same lead sources. They're both Zillow Flex. But the collaboration is coming back because we realize as we get bigger, right, there isn't a scarcity because there's so much opportunity, because there's so the world has become I'm going to get a little political here, Cody. The world has become soft. And Cody and I are currently in Medellin and Bogota, Colombia. And you see people struggle to make $1. The hustle that these guys have to sell you a small thing, as you're walking by, or to play music to get a 30-cent tip, which is, a decent amount out here. The hustle is unreal. I mean,
yeah.
In America, the West, it's a soft culture. And I've always said that, it's nothing new. I've said that for 20 years. It's a soft culture. And so the people that want to rise to the top will always have a space. It's not that there's not a lot of room at the top. There's just not a lot of people willing to climb the mountain to get to the top. So
absolutely,
in collaboration, it's 100% because most companies are broken. And most companies, when I signed up for Zillow in 2012, I think I signed up whatever it was. It was I was one of the first Zillow agents. When I owned the whole zip code for $300, it was insane.
Right.
And everybody said, you're so stupid. Just do it the traditional way. And I'm like, but dude, I've been in real estate for a year. Why wouldn't I spend money? $100 to possibly get $2 million houses a month? The math doesn't even add up how stupid you guys are talking right now.
Yeah.
The collaboration in the offices, in the old school offices, is all about closed-mindedness.
They don't look to share that info. I mean, the reality is in most offices, when you look at how many are successful, I've got a national brokerage over here that I could throw probably a ball at, right? And they have 450 agents, and I would say about 30 of them do more than 2 homes a year.
Out of 400, my math is not good. That sounds like very, very poor percentage.
Right. But here's the thing. No, when you look at the office and how many agents are willing to do the work, but nobody shares. So I think that there's a lot of people that get into it that could have success, that just don't understand have that success because they don't have somebody helping them lead the way. The collaboration that I'm talking about is that what EXP is allowed, it's allowed because when I sell a home, 7 people get paid, right? I have 7 people that want me to sell more homes. Same thing. If I bring in somebody, say it goes both ways. So now they're not just going, oh, do the fluff. They actually go, here's the book. Here's how you do it. And so when I don't just collaborate with the best in my office, not just the best in the state, but now it's the best in the nation. So when I'm having those conversations in that run, the conversation's different. When you get to
upgrade your environment, you upgrade your people, you upgrade your life.
Yeah, there's really only 2 ways to kind of change your circumstance. You either change your environment or you change the people that are around it. Like those are the only 2 ways to change your life. I wish we could jam for another hour. Like this has been freaking amazing, but we got to wrap up here due to time. Kim, I just want to say thank you more than anything for just sharing your knowledge around collaboration, around relationships, around the things that you're doing locally, the consistent, persistent action that is required in order to build successful business. If somebody were to want to reach out to you, maybe they want to have a conversation, maybe it's EXP's the solution, maybe it's an agent-to-agent referral, maybe they just want to pick your brain, where's the best place that we can send them to have a conversation with you?
So as I mentioned, I am on all social media platforms, but if I'm picking one, you can go to my YouTube channel. It's Realty Consultants International. And on there, it's Realty Consultants International. And so if you go to my YouTube, there's one link on there that goes to my link tree that's going to give you all my socials, right? So if you have a preference, some people prefer Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, you can find me that way. But if you go to the YouTube there, you can find me. But, my big tip is when I'm in those rooms, the most consistent common denominator I see in those people is they're not afraid to take action. Even if they fail, they take action. You just see people like planning things but never doing. So just take action, be consistent, and you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So just choose wisely.
Kim, I want to say thank you, bottom of my heart, for joining us today on the Argent Podcast. And I want to say thank you for tuning into another episode of the #1 real estate podcast in the world. We'll see you soon. Bye.